Hello everyone, this is Diane. Thank you for coming to my Pretty Pink Cottage channel today. Now it is time to get started on this very big book, turning it into a Christmas journal, and I'm doing it domestic art style. So for those of you who don't know what that is, years ago I saw Gina from the Rebookery make some journals, not Christmas ones, but they were made out of craft books, like smaller than this, I think. Different sizes, different shapes. And she called them homebodies because she used a theme of needlework, needle arts, quilting. I don't know if she used cooking in there, but I loved them because I am a homebody and I love domestic things. So I kind of interpreted that my own way, and I use homemaking and cooking and all of the things, even gardening, all the things you would do to make your house a home. And that includes the crafts, needle arts, and what other kinds of crafts you can do around the house to make your house homey. And I called them domestic arts journals. So they've been pretty popular from my store. And I've heard other people mention when they're doing hauls that they'll say this will be good for a domestic arts journal, but I don't know if I've ever seen anyone make one. I'll have to check and look on YouTube and see. If you know of anyone that has made a journal that they call domestic arts, let me know, because I'd like to see it. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do with this, and a lot of the styling is inspired by Gina. I just have to say that. She doesn't do that anymore. She has not been active on her YouTube or her Etsy shop in a year. So she is doing art, but I don't know if she's doing books anymore. I'm just gluing this yo-yo back down here. So anyway, you'll see what I mean by the styling of it. So you can see it's a big book. So that means I already measured to see how big I need to make the pages. The width of my pages needs to be 16 inches before it's folded, and the height 10.5. So I'm going to have to do some constructing on some of the pages to make them that big. So we're going to talk about that today. I'm going to pull pieces to be pages. I also have these large elements that I set aside and saved for this big journal. We're not going to concern ourselves with those because those are embellishments. So I made a little list of things I want to do, and then I just have a bunch of papers here that we'll work on getting in ready for pages. Get all these little tidbits out of my way. The first thing I have is Scrapbook page with ledger. Oh, and I forgot to get ledger pages out. So this is the Spirit of Christmas, you can see, and it has this Old World Santa on the front, and I believe this page came out of this book. That's a different kind of a theme altogether there. And we have some nutcrackers. I also have this from a pattern catalog, I think, or a sewing catalog or something. Might have been from the 1970s or 60s Vogue pattern books that I got. And I love it because of the Christmas tablecloths that she is making with fabric. So this definitely fits into the domestic arts category. I've got another Old World Santa here too. I love this. I think I could make a long pocket or a belly band with that, maybe. So now I just have to decide which of these do I want to use. I won't use all of them. I want to use at least one of the Old World Santas. And I think I like this one. I really like this one, though, because it's got more light colors instead of all being dark. Let's do this one. And I'll use a nutcracker page and this page. but I do need to make it, well, you know, you can just fold it and it would be a smaller page in the book, but I want this to be a full-size page. So I'm going to cut this at like almost 8 inches. And then I will cut a ledger page or some other long page to take up the, kind of fold over and make up the rest of the width. I'll cut this down to 10.5. I'll do that with all of these. I better do them one at a time. They're slippery and they keep moving. Well, I'm going to trim the ragged edge and then take more of the excess off of this edge. So I cut less of the Santa. Same here because it's got a white border. But I do want to get rid of that rough edge. Did I already cut this one? Yeah, I did. Okay. Now, I have to go grab a ledger page. No, I'm going to use, oh, yeah, I have these. So, if you remember, I got these from Stampin' Up! Way earlier this year because they were big. And these are actually supposed to be used for the demonstrator to have on her table as she works, you know, as her little blotter paper. But I like them. These were clearanced, and I like them because they're nice, a good size. Sometimes I need big paper. So, and they're Christmas pattern, so I'm going to use these. It's the toile on one side and the trees on the other. Alright, so they do need to be 10.5 inches tall. I want the bigger border. It's a little bit too tall for this cutter. But I need it to be bigger than 8 inches because it's going to, this will be the page. Say this is the page and it's going to connect to this. And so part of this will be on this side. So, let's see. I mean, this would be big enough by itself. Almost big enough. So there's 8 inches. I'm going to make it 8.5. And I will show you what I mean. I will sew this together because I like the look of sewing. I do a lot of sewing in the domestic arts journals. So I will sew this together, and then when I fold it, let's see where the 8-inch mark is. Right there. When I fold it, I'll fold it along this line. I better do it with this because these two grids don't line up. I thought I could just use the grid. I'm not going to press very hard because this is just paper, not cardstock. Just enough. There we go. then this will be on this page, sewn together, like that or like that. I think I like it like this. And then this doesn't look Christmassy, so I'll cover that with something else. So there we go. That's how I will put that page together. So I'll just cut my other pages the size that I want. So after this video, I will have to spend some time at my sewing machine sewing all these pages together. Now, I'm not going to make every single page this big. Why is this page so big? Did I cut these too small? Maybe I didn't trim this one. No, I didn't. There. Because I do want some of the pages to be smaller. I want different sizes. So that's one page for each signature. Okay, where's my little paper? Oh, it's upside down. Music page and lined paper. I don't have a lot of music paper. I mean, I do, but I don't have it in this pile here. It's not music paper, but I pulled it out. Here's another one. Oh, I've got this book. Okay, now this is a shorter page, but I love the red. If I can remove this without cutting the tassel, that would be great. But I don't know if I can loosen this knot enough to pull the tassel through. Doesn't want to loosen. I really don't want to cut the tassel. Oh, there we go. Just pull it out like that. There we go. Oh, I was trying to loosen the knot on the tassel itself. Okay, I can save that and maybe use it in the journal. Oh, it does have one staple. Wow, I didn't know that would be so hard. I could have stood up and reached it better, but I was being lazy. Okay, now I'm going to select a couple of these pages and maybe use one of the bigger ones. I don't know which one I want to use. Now, what can I pair that with? I have this music. It's a tall paper, and it's manuscript paper for musicians to write their own music on there. So I think that would be a fun pairing. Now this, I'll just put this in like this. And it's 6 3/4. So I'm just going to leave that alone, actually. I think that's what I'll do. I'll just put 3 of those, 1 of those in each signature. Because I love the pages, and I like that they're a different size. Okay, that's good. That's easy. Let's look at these calendar pages that I have. Christmas calendar pages. I already folded them, but what I could have done was fold them not in half. But I think I'll just leave them that way. That's another tall one, so I'll cut it this way. Didn't fold it very straight. It's a stiff cardstock, so it doesn't want to readjust. We'll just deal with it. And I could leave that size too, but I might sew something as a little flappy thing. This one's really wonky. These are from those really nice, forgot the name of them, brand, the company that puts out these really heavy, beautiful calendars that my friend Val gave me out of her garage. She loves cats, so she had a lot of cat calendars, and then she just had a couple that were a different theme, country theme or something. But most of them were cats. So with this, I could just leave the page like this, but then attach a card or something on this flap on it, and it would be, let's see, this is 6 3/4, just like the music paper, so there wouldn't be much space because 8 inches is as big as it can be. But if I just took something, it wouldn't be this, but you know, put it like that, have it hang over just a little bit, and then have a pocket. You know, I could do stuff like that with it. So we'll just leave that the way it is for now. Oh, I wanted to use this in there somehow. I love it. From an old magazine from the 40s, I believe. Woman's Day. And just look at that. Merry Christmas candies. When you think of candy, come to A&P. There were a lot of A&P ads. It's a grocery store chain in those Women's Day magazines. So for this, I could you know, if I didn't like the picture on this side, I could just adhere that, you know. So that's what I'll use it for, because it's brittle and it couldn't be a page on its own. So I'll do that. I have some Currier and Ives calendars. You may remember I got a whole box full of these, and I sold a bunch of the pages from an antique store, and she gave me a really good price on them. And I found some of the December pages. So going to use 3 of the December pages. But how am I going to do it? How am I going to cut it? It's really hard when you have like wallpaper and wrapping paper and things that are way too big for your cutter to get them cut straight. So I'm going to cut it off at the top. And I don't need this page. Let me see. I'm going to fold this straighter and then just tear it, I think. Because I will trim it off. Now that I could use, but I don't know if I need it. This is a little more manageable. So now I can fold this in half. And go from there. I need it to be 8 inches. Just maybe a smidge over the 8 inch, so I'm just going to trim a little bit more so it's a little bit shorter than 8 inches. And 10.5 inches. I could have trimmed off the margin, but I kind of like that notch there. I just like things that make the pages unique. So there's one, and I don't need to do anything else to that. But I could have left it a little bit wider and folded it over. I could make a pocket out of it, because this is not very Christmassy. It's autumn fruit. You know, so I could put something here and have a pocket or a flap. Let's see what another page does for us. There's December. This is just awkward. So these are dated. Somebody collected them for a long time, because the one I just cut was 1968 and this one is 1993, and I think there were even some in the 2000s. Oh, I didn't trim much off the edges, that's right, because it was just, it was just about the right size. So I couldn't have made a bigger flap. Wow, it's going off the mark. So that's good. I mean, I didn't cut off stuff I could have used. And I'll do the third one off camera. That one's 1969. also have this very wide graph paper that I bought at a flea market. Let's see, let's get it at 16 inches, which is right there. I do want to do some scrapbook paper so you can see how I can use a 12 by 12 paper and get the width that I need. And I've done this before on other videos. This looks like it could be a good one for domestic arts because it's got all of these advertisements. I'm going to cut it down to 10.5. If I wanted to, I could leave that height and fold up a pocket, but I'm going to cut it. And score it, because it's cardstock and sometimes it's hard to get a good fold. Score it at, where am I going to score it? Well, I will score it at, how about 7.5? And then I have some cutoff pieces from previous projects, and some of these are from last year. A lot of these are horizontal in design, which isn't such a bad thing. I may end up using one of those, like that tree maybe. Yeah, I think I will. So this is 4.5 inches, and we have 7.5 inches here, so there's a 3-inch difference. So I'm going to cut it at 3.5, and that way there's room to overlap. By 10.5. And I'll sew that together. Now I'm going to do it a different way, slightly different way on this page. I love this page. Also advertisements. I'm just cutting off the strip with the hole up here. Oh look, that's the image that it was in a magazine, and I cut it out and put it on cardstock and made a tuck spot in my Raggedy Ann journal. And cut it off at 10.5 inches here. Oh, I don't want to use that. I want to use a scrap. I can just use this piece. Cut it off at 10.5 inches. But I didn't cut the width. So I'm going to score this again. Scoring it at 7 3/4. Then I can put this so that it's the right, makes it the right width, like that, and I can glue or sew all around there, and I would have a pocket right there. So that's what I'll do with this page. That's the fun thing about constructing pages, making them bigger, is you can make all these little pockets and tucks. If I needed to make something taller, I could do the same thing with a pocket down here. Ooh, Judy got her Wordle in 3 guesses today. I got mine in 4. I think I'll use this one. It's a Stampin' Up! Paper, and it goes with that grid paper that we already cut, the background, you know, the drop paper. Matches that. And I'll do the same thing here. And I'll have a bit of a, not much of a pocket, really. This paper must have been narrower. But there will be a very skinny little tuck spot there. If I decide to leave it there, maybe I'll just sew it all closed. Because it really, there's not much there. It was a nice thought. I might like it better. I think it looks better that way, with a solid, more solid green, and then that shows up like that. Okay, that's some scrapbook paper. Oh, wallpaper. Let's do wallpaper. I looked in my wallpaper books and found these. This one is glittery a little bit, and it could actually look like mistletoe. And then these two I thought were really pretty. And then this is just branches, winter scene. And that's just 16 inches wide. I want to make sure I get some smaller pages in here, so we'll look at them next. I love the color of that green for a Christmas journal. has to fold this way. I think that's all right. I feel like I did that wrong. Nope. Just didn't look like it was the right size. All right, what else do I have here? I have these papers. They're just 12 by 12, but they're textured and they're like specialty papers. So I thought maybe I could use, I always forget about them. How about one of those silver ones? This gold one. One of these, I guess. So I think this will end up being a smaller page. I'll cut it at 9.5. And it will fold to 6 inches wide. Let's see how many pages we have so far. I'm just counting 3 of them as one because it's one for each signature. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I did make the spine, I think 2.5 inches. Oh, I have these digitals. These will be a smaller page too. The plaids that I showed you in the Raggedy Ann journal. Well, I don't need to do this on camera, but I will select 3 pages. Let's see, I really like this one. That one. And this one. And then I'll trim the white off. So that is, I forgot how many pages I just counted. But there's another one. I figured I could do 2 or 3 more. And then see how fat it gets after I start. I usually add a lot of kind of bulkier things to these journals. Do I need another scrapbook paper? I usually put 2, at least 2 in a signature. Now these are other things that I pulled and want to use. I have this vintage page, which I think I'll put this in as a page. It came from an old magazine, and it's the December food calendar. And I can reinforce the fold. And I can use this page from the Simplicity catalog. It's got little girls in their pajamas and coats, and a boy. I'll need one more page of that sort, if I have it. I want to use this. This is Christmas Gifts 1942. This was in one of those scrapbooks of all the cards, and this is what the little girl received in Christmas of 1942, what she got and who it was from. She got a lot of presents. It says 30, but those are 30 people that gave her gifts, because Aunt Hilda gave her a bunch of stuff. Grandparents gave her a bunch of stuff. That girl was very, very loved. She got so many cards from so many different people for every holiday and birthday. Well, maybe I will fold this in and just reinforce it. So that can be the third page of this type. So this could either go in a pocket, or I think that's what I'll do with it. And let's do one more scrapbook paper. How are we on time? We're about done. I could do a scrapbook paper or another craft book page. Oh, wait. How about another small page out of this book? I wanted to make sure I used that. I'm going to stand up to get my staple folder this time. Okay. So this does have some recipes, and I think it has some crafts too. Yeah. Decorating, lights. So it's perfect for a domestic arts journal. And this was put out by the New York State Electric and Gas Corporation. So I think I'll use those 3. And that might be enough pages to start with, and I might decide to put some more in. But this is a good start, don't you think? So I don't have a lot of sewing to do. I had a lot of big pages, so I didn't need to sew, but I do have a little sewing to do. Sometimes it's kind of fun to use a lot of smaller pages that you have to sew, because I like that aspect. But today we're going to go with this. And we'll add some stuff. We'll do a lot of sewing in the journal anyway. Well, thanks for coming along today to see what kind of big pages I was going to be using in my big Christmas journal. I hope you'll come back to see what else we do in this book. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you soon. Have a creative day. Bye-bye.